Comrades and friends, brothers and sisters, the world has entered an historic moment in human history with the collapse of U.S.-led imperialism. I'm not just talking about the economic and military collapse, but more importantly, the ideological collapse of U.S.-led imperialism. What is the most important weapon of the capitalist rulers against the people of the world, including the masses within the borders of U.S.-led imperialist states? It is the mind of the masses. The masses of the world, especially within the imperialist centers, ever since World War II, have been convinced by corporate propaganda, Hollywood films, and an educational system determined to prove to the masses that the USA is the source of and defender of freedom and democracy for the people of the entire planet. For all these decades, class consciousness within the USA borders has been conspicuously absent, subsumed under American exceptionalism. The USA was somehow clinically immune from those dastardly corrupt and authoritarian or even terroristic governments that ruled over much of the rest of the world. This American exceptionalism predates even World War II and even predates World War I. Most people in the USA do not know that the U.S. did not enter World War I as an ally of the UK and France. The U.S. imperialist propaganda that was used to get support from the U.S. masses for the armed intervention in World War I was that the USA was coming to the rescue of old Europe to fight the war to end all wars. In essence, it was Big Daddy putting the children back to bed by disciplining the unruly children of Europe. Today, few activists on the left realize that U.S. imperialism had become the most powerful imperialist power on the face of the planet about 4 decades prior to World War I, when the U.S. economic base surpassed that of the UK by 1873. By 1880, the U.S. was growing so fast that the U.S. GDP was already 45% greater than that of the UK and about equal to that of France and Germany combined. By 1913, 1 year before the outbreak of World War I, the U.S. GDP was almost 2.5 times that of the UK, and about 40% greater than the combined GDP of the UK and France together. It is why the Russo-Japanese War of 1905 was mediated by the US, with a peace treaty signed in Portsmouth, Maine. After World War I, the U.S. imperialist bankers crushed the European economy, especially that of the UK and France, who had borrowed heavily from the U.S. banks to fund their armies during the war. The U.S. imperialists demanded payment for those war bonds simply because they were not allies of the UK and France during the war. It was tradition for allies to forego debts at the end of the war. The debts would be paid for by looting the defeated countries. However, because the USA did not enter the war as an ally of the UK and France, it demanded full repayment of the war bonds, thus crippling the European economies between World War I and World War II. Between the two world wars, the USA became known as Uncle Shylock. The role of U.S. imperialism between the two wars was the primary cause of World War II, both in Europe and in the Pacific. The failure of Marxists to take into account the economic causes of World War II has allowed U.S. imperialism politically off the hook for its actual role in between the two world wars. Aren't Marxists supposed to understand that economics determines politics? Apparently not. However, economics does determine politics. And the sooner Marxists return to that understanding of the primacy of economics, it will be easier to understand the role of U.S. imperialism not only in world history, but also in the decline of U.S. imperialism today. For further details on this issue, please watch my prior video entitled A Call for New Communist International, which is also available on YouTube. That video was created to dispel the illusion that U.S. imperialism only became the dominant imperialist power after World War II. That illusion has allowed U.S. imperialism to hide its vicious and bloody history from the eyes of the masses. It is unfortunate that the conservative Moscow bureaucracy during World War II allowed that illusion about U.S. imperialism to spread so widely, even within its own borders, with huge subsequent negative consequences to the USSR itself. It was the USSR and the communist partisans alone that defeated fascism in World War II. D-Day came near the end of the war for the purpose of saving Europe from communism, not from fascism. Why do I bring all of this up now? The propaganda that served U.S.-led imperialism so well that the USA is the source of and defender of freedom and democracy is no more. The veil from the eyes of the masses has been lifted by the Palestinian people in Gaza during this U.S.-sponsored genocide. The people of the world owe a great deal to the heroic Palestinian people who have torn the veil of freedom and democracy from the face of U.S.-led imperialism to reveal a bloodthirsty vampire willing to commit the worst crimes of genocide that every person on the globe can, with the new technology, see for themselves. Again, the most powerful weapon against the masses is the masses' own minds. The most powerful weapon against the capitalist rulers is also the masses' own minds. U.S.-led imperialism has lost the fight for the minds of the masses. We have the Palestinian people to thank for that. Too many people believe that the fight for the freedom of the Palestinian people was lost when Syria was overthrown. Yes, it was a setback, but did it not also reveal to the masses even a more vicious face of U.S.-led imperialism? Did not the U.S.-led imperialists support the HTS, al-Nusra, al-Qaeda, ISIS terrorist forces? Did that not politically destroy all the U.S.-led imperialist propaganda about fighting terrorism? Did not this not reveal to the world that the U.S. was the sponsor of terrorism? That the U.S.-led imperialism is the financer of ISIS and the terrorist groups? U.S.-led imperialism cannot survive while revealing to the world that they are the bad guys. To make it worse, U.S.-led imperialism's military defeat in the Ukraine has exposed the economic and the military weakness of U.S.-led imperialism to the eyes of the world's masses, including to the masses within the imperialist centers themselves. What remains in the toolbox for U.S. imperialism today, after losing in all aspects of their political power, being it ideological, economic, and military? Their only tool remaining is fear and the passivity of the masses. That fear and passivity is coming to an end. The economic disaster that's the centers of U.S.-led imperialism are now entering will quickly boil over into mass rebellion, simply because mass anger is beginning to rise rapidly. The masses can be lied to successfully if they can be made to believe that they are benefiting from the lies. Recent elections in all the Western imperialist centers have revealed that the masses are very unhappy with the traditional political parties of the capitalist ruling classes. The masses are struggling under economic pressure and political disillusionment, and are now looking for answers and finding none. Now the masses who cannot find answers in the traditional parties of the ruling classes are looking to the left and to the right for those answers. But only the left has the answer. What is that answer? The problem is the capitalist system itself. The right-wing forces are captives of the capitalist system, but that system is collapsing around them. As such, no answer can be found from the right other than austerity and repression as handmaidens of the capitalist rulers. The right wing is the defenders of the past, trying to hold back the forces of the future. But the collapse of U.S.-led imperialism economically, ideologically, and most importantly, militarily, cuts the ground under their feet. Where does that leave the left? Are we not at the point where the masses start to look left? The people of Gaza and the soldiers of the Russian army have broken U.S.-led imperialism's hold on the planet. The Palestinian people and the Russian army are not only freeing Palestine and the Ukraine, they have opened the door to the freeing of the masses of the entire planet. We are entering a new era in world history. The Pax Americana version of the Pax Romana is coming to its blood-soaked end. Here, inside the belly of the beast, the masses of the USA will be the ones to have the privilege of putting the wooden stake in the vampire's heart. Comrades, can you not see the collapse of U.S.-led imperialism happening right in front of your eyes? It is so obvious. However, that revolution will not happen without organization. The masses are angry. Luigi Mangione revealed that mass anger just a few days ago. In U.S. corporate media-sponsored polls, it was revealed that about 70% of the youth in the USA approved of Luigi's murder of the CEO. The capitalist rulers of the USA were so scared by this murder that when Luigi Mangione was transferred to New York City, there was made the most amazing perp walk that I have ever seen, with masses of police in bulletproof vests, with Luigi Mangione in their midst, for the cameras of the entire mass media to view, with the mayor of New York City, which is the capital of capitalism, marching right behind Luigi Mangione. What an amazing picture! What an amazing picture. A picture that will be placed in future history books about the collapse of U.S. imperialism. Contrast that picture to the corporate media welcome of war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu to the U.S. Congress just a few months earlier. Could there be a better indication that the masses of the USA are beginning to see who their real enemy is? That enemy is the capitalist rulers themselves. In that case, what do we do, comrades? Now is the time to get organized. The crazy billionaires being appointed to Donald Trump's cabinet is also destroying the illusion of democracy. The greatest mistake the ruling class can do is to reveal themselves, not their puppet politicians, as the ones in charge of the state. The mass anger can now be directed directly at the rulers themselves. The veil is lifted. What more do you need, comrades? What more incentive do you need? The masses are beginning to become receptive to our message. The masses are looking for answers. Do not wait. Get moving. Get organized. Unite. And with that, communism will win. Thank you.